All right, hey guys, I'm going to show you how I encapsulate my glitters. Okay, so these are probably going to be the glitters that I'm going to use, and I've got no nails on or anything like that, so I'm going to show you exactly what I do. These are just some Mylars, just different color Mylars. These are some stars. I've got some dots here. I think I might take some of these little guys too. I don't know, we'll see. But I just grabbed these right now. Okay, so I'm going to show you from start to finish how I prep my nail, how I encapsulate it, the forms that I use, and all that good stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is file my nail. I'm going to round out my edges. I'm hoping this stays focused. I'm going to round up everything out so my form fits right underneath. I do have, let's see if you can see, focus. So as you can see, I have like a curve, a slight curve to my nail. A lot of mine have a curve already to them. So it's kind of harder to fit the forms on an already sharp curve of a nail. But we are going to just file them nice short length. Push back your cuticle, of course. See all that skin coming off just from scraping it? Yeah, all that dead skin. Okay, so you can use an e-file or you can just use a regular file. It doesn't really matter, whichever you're comfortable with. I have both. I usually use an e-file, but we're just going to use a hand file. And I believe, I don't know, yeah, these came from China. I got them off of Amazon. These only work good for natural nails. They do not work good for acrylics or gels, okay? So I would not recommend these unless you're doing natural nails only. And yeah, so these are 182.40. And just get right up in there. And of course, make sure you season your file, your edges, so that you don't cut yourself or anybody else. But these files, they work fine for natural nails, but nothing else. If you try using them for enhancements, you'll be filing forever. And when you're doing a natural nail, you don't want a harsh grit going across your nail anyway. So yeah, these work great. And I still have leftover product from the last set that I had on. You can see like right up in here is my leftover product, but that's not a huge deal. As long as I get it smoothed out for the most part, it's going to be okay. And then so once you remove all the shine to it, get all that dust off your hands. Dust is the enemy, right? Okay. And so that's how you should look. So now you want to take a lint-free cloth. These are from Light Elegance. They work really well actually. You want to get some alcohol on it. Clean that nail. Get all that residue off. Clean underneath the nail. So there you go. Then get a dehydrator. Dehydrate the nail to remove all the oils from the nail. And you can see it dries pretty fast. And we are going to use Magic Gel System. So I don't know if you've used Magic Gel System. I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I use Magic Gel System for encapsulating my glitters is because it is like crystal clear. Like, this is the most clear of a product that I have used, and it works great. The acrylics that I have, they say clear on them, but they're kind of foggy. I have used Young Nails, unless Young Nails has a crystal clear that I'm just not aware of. I think I used their Speed Clear, and that was foggy. And there's some other ones out there, but I just had bubbles and fog, and so this one worked really good for me for having that crystal clear to make sure your glitter sparkles like it's supposed to. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You can just do an extension with the gel, or you can put a thin layer of acrylic down first and then put your gel on top and encapsulate. So we can do both if you'd like. So we're going to do the Magic Gel System first. This is their primer. So the first step would be, after you prep your nail and dehydrate it, you're going to take their primer and you're just going to dab it, and it's going to spread. And that's it. And then you're going to wait for this to dry chalky. You want this to dry and look matte, not shiny or wet anymore. So we're going to wait for that. While we're waiting for that, I'm going to show you the forms that I use. Okay, these are the forms that I use. Absolutely love these forms. They are my favorite. I hardly ever have to cut these forms for my clients. Like, cutting forms for clients could be totally time consuming, especially if you got to cut all 10, right? If you got to customize all 10, it's time consuming. I hardly ever have to use these. So when I put these on, I do take the back off and I just throw it on the back just for extra support. You don't have to if you don't want to. They're already thick enough. They're very sticky. So I squeeze it to get a curve in it. And these are stiletto shaped, but I'm not going to do a stiletto. I'm just going to do a tapered square. So we're going to put these on. Hopefully you guys can see. So we're going to shove this under there. Okay, and then I squeeze the tip first. And then you want to make sure, like, and if you mess up, just start over. I get these out of the way. Sometimes they're in the way. So make sure, okay, when you put these on, make sure there's no gap between the nail and the form. I have a tiny gap over here, and it's simply because my nail's kind of wonky, I guess you'd say. Like, it kind of like goes up and down. So I'm not, unless I trim my nail a lot shorter, but that's such a tiny, tiny little space right there. It's not going to do anything. But if you have a huge space, you're going to have all that acrylic and all that gel go underneath your free edge. And then that's where you're going to get dirt caught underneath, and that's where people are going to start picking and all that stuff. So we got that. So now that we have a chalky area, we come in with the silicone thin base. Gotta have this. And it's a super thin consistency. It's just a little thicker than water. And then I have their brush, of course. This came with the kit. If you haven't tried them yet, just go ahead and get the kit. I really like the kit, actually. So you're going to get very, very little. Very, very little. You don't need a lot at all. You're going to start from the back. Press down into the nail. Swipe it forward. and then just paint it on really thin. And then there, you're done. So that's such a thin layer, right? So now we're going to cure this. We're going to put it in the light. Cure that. Okay, now that that is done, we are going to go in with diamond fiber. The reason why I'm using diamond fiber is because it is clear, crystal clear, and it looks amazing. We are going to do an extension of it. And you can see, I would say it's about a medium viscosity. So you're going to want to do 2 to 3, depending on how fast you are, 2 to 3 nails at a time, and then cure them in between, and then work on the other hand. So now, we're going to take this, and we're going to do a thin layer of gel all the way down. So I like to start at the free edge. Get your sidewalls in there. Now this is going to be thin, and then you're going to drag it out. And we're just going to go to about a 2 for now. And I'm going to, let me see if I can. We're just pretty much drawing a rough outline of the shape that we want. Because we're going to file it eventually, right? So after I do that, so you can kind of see, I'm just almost at a 2. We're going to come in and we're going to do a thin layer of clear. And we're just going to smooth that down. And now make sure it is connected right here at the free edge, because when it cures, we're going to remove this form. So you can see how thin that is. Hopefully I can get it focused. Make sure your sides are connected. There. You can pinch it a little more if you like. So now we're going to cure this. Okay, so now that it is cured, let's see if we can. So now you want to be very careful because it's super thin, right? So you want to separate it from the edge. So get something to help separate it if it doesn't separate right away. There. So now look. So that's where we're at now. We're still going to file and all that good stuff, but this is where we want to start, right? And then if anything kind of sagged a little bit, there might be some right over here. You can file that as well. We're going to file that also. So this is where we're at. So now what you want to do, we're going to open up all of our glitters, right? So let's get our design ready. Okay, so there's our glitters. And then let's see, maybe we'll do, which one should we do? Some of these, maybe these. These are kind of hard to open, but all right. And then I might throw in some of these little guys. I've had them forever, so I might as well just use them up, right? Okay, so now what you want to do, you're going to take more of your diamond fiber, just a thin layer, small blob, thin layer. You're going to create a nice thin layer for your glitter to stick to. Okay, move that to the side. Now I use tweezers for my glitters, right? So I just get my tweezers like sticky, right? So that it can pick up the glitters. And then it picks it up. And then I just place it where I want it. Place it where I want it. And I have no rhyme or reason as to why I'm placing these where they're at. Hopefully you guys can see. And then let me see, I want to grab some of these real quick. Just to put in. These give off some awesome color. Maybe I'll do a couple of oranges over here. A couple of those. Maybe one of these over there, one over there. Some more orange up in here. So when you're pretty much satisfied, because we're going to layer this also. So when you are good to go, what you can do, let's put another one like right here. Give it a little flash. Okay, so that's what we got going on right now, right? So we're gonna cure this. In the light we go. Okay, so I left it in there pretty much just to freeze it. Oh, excuse me. Just to freeze it. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take another thin, and you could be totally done right now. You could just encapsulate this right now if you want. But I want to add a little bit more, so I'm going to put a thin layer of gel on top. And it's going to look crazy. It's going to be all sticking up, sticking out, lumpy, and that's okay. Get my little edge sticky again. So now we're going to take some of these little stars that I just love so much. And we're just going to place one or two here or there for the time being. I'm not sure if I want to continue with the dots. There are some silver dots. Let's see. Got some stars. We'll just go ahead. Do some little baby dots or something. Just to give you guys an idea. Throw in some pink. Some of those. Throw that in there. Throw this in, and then of course you get a couple of those. So this is what I mean by layering. So you can just layer more glitter on top of the glitter you already put in. And the dots come in different sizes, which is cool. So it looks like a mess right now, but I don't want that one. Let's get on there. It's the only bad thing is when they don't want to stick. Okay. So now we're going to cure this. We're going to cure this for the full, I think it's like 60 seconds. Okay, so now that that's cured, this is where you're going to take a big old blob of your diamond fiber. I'm going to show you. Scoop up a big old blob of it. See that big old blob? Now this can be runny, so you're going to want to pillow it on. Kind of slowly work it back towards the cuticle without touching. Down to the side walls. Try to work out any air bubbles that you see. And then just work it down. Try to encapsulate everything. If you need to get more, get more. Try to hold your finger down so the gel runs down and not backwards to your cuticle. And I know this looks like a mess right now, which is normal. The good thing about the gel, we're going to get a little more. As you can see, it's kind of low. I wish my camera would just focus. Come on. There we go. So we're going to just put a little more right here. Because you can always file down. It sucks when you think you're done and then you file and then you find out you need to add more gel. It's totally happened. So now you can hold your finger upside down if you want to try and create the apex. You can totally do that as well. You can see it's going to look clear underneath. So when you're done with that, it goes directly into the light. So when this goes into light, make sure you're using your power saver, which is the 99-second mode, which is, it starts out like weak, like the light is weak so that you don't get a heat spike, and then it powers up and then it powers up again. I think mine has like 3 different stages of it. It's just simply so you don't get a heat spike. The thicker the gel, the more of a heat spike you're going to have. So if you put a big old blob on somebody and you stick them in at full power of a LED light, it's going to burn them. It's going to burn their nail bed and they're going to want to yank their hand out. So don't do that. Okay, so as you can see, it sagged. When I set my hand down, my finger naturally just leans to the side, right? So however your client's hand leans or lays their fingers, that's where the gel is going to sag to, right? Because the thickness of this gel, it's not very thick. It's not like it's a builder gel, but it's runny. It's not going to stay where you put it. It's going to level out. So now we're going to clean. There is a sticky layer. We're going to clean that off with just alcohol with a cleaner. Any cleaner will do, I'm pretty sure. It's just an inhibition layer. So make sure you get all that off. And we're going to start filing. Okay, so you can use an e-file and you can see there's some lumps and bumps and everything else, but so you're going to want to start filing. I'm not going to do the whole process, but you can see just how easy it is to file. Like, gel is so easy to file. Okay, so you're going to want to start, clean up your sides, and then you're going to do a horseshoe pattern like this on the whole thing. So I'm going to get my e-file out and use that instead because it's just going to be faster, but you're going to want to, this sag right here, you're going to want to file that till you get your shape. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so I'm done filing this nail. My finger, the way my fingers sit, you can see it just leans to the side. So it's kind of, I have to hold my finger a certain way just to get it to look right and to make sure it's straight for the most part, you know. But this is what it looks like filed. So you definitely want to have like a nice smooth transition from your cuticle area right here. There's a thin layer of acrylic, and then it comes up to your apex area and then bevels down. So now we're going to clean this with some alcohol. And you can see my finger just completely just leans. It's just amazing how that works. And I could just, and that's what it looks like underneath. Okay, let's clean this. So you can probably even just do a matte on this and it'll look pretty. But we're going to do a color, so after that dries, we're just going to put a clear coat on it. Okay. Just whatever clear coat that you like. So when you do it and it's clear like this, make sure you get the edges and underneath. You want the underneath to be crystal clear as well. And then if you get any on the skin, obviously wipe it off before you cure it. But that is what it looks like so far. Now we're going to pop this in the light. Okay, so here's the finished product. We're going to throw some cuticle oil on it real quick. There. Make sure you put cuticle underneath. You want to make sure everything is nice, moisturized, and there is the nail. Look how pretty that is. Like, you can see how crystal clear it is, the sparkle. Now, what I should have done, this is why you want to make sure your nail bed is nice and cleaned up, because you can kind of see it a little bit right up in here, which is not a huge deal. Some people don't like that look. When I do my clients' nails, I usually try to cover up their free edge so that it's not obvious, you know. So you want to make sure you do clean up the free edge if you're doing an all clear nail with some glitter. Yeah, just to make it look nice and presentable and professional looking. But there you go. So you have to let me know. Don't judge my other little fingers. Now, if you want to see another video with me doing an acrylic, a thin acrylic base, and then gel on top of that to encapsulate, if you want more color or different glitter, just let me know in the comments. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you at least learned something, and I hope it was educational for you guys. All right, thank you for watching.